Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mila, you're at my book nook, and today we have a video that I've been sort of I've been planning it for quite a bit, and it wasn't until this point that I was like, okay, I have to sit down and do it. So as you saw in the beginning, okay, hold on, actually, I gotta put on my ambiance. There we go. As you have seen in the beginning of the video, the books that I put up are all Tolkien adjacent, Lord of the Rings adjacent, and Lord of the Rings related. Okay. So I just wanted to walk through all my copies of Lord of the Rings. I thought it would be a fun video since my initial video of my Tolkien collection was quite small compared to what I have now. So I'm very excited to show you guys what has transpired over the past several months. So we're going to start with my first ever set, and these are the mass market paperbacks. These are from HarperCollins. So we have Fellowship, we have Two Towers, and we have Return of the King. Now, as you can see, Two Towers and Return of the King are a little bit, their spines are definitely more worn in than Fellowship. But that is because I was reading Fellowship on my Kobo before I had gone out and bought these. So, yeah, so that's why this one's in pristine condition. I ended up finishing it, the ebook, and didn't switch to the physical ones until we got to Two Towers. And it was a great find that my green dress had pockets big enough to fit both Two Towers and Return of the King, which is just a great thing to know. So I don't remember exactly what the next set was, but I'll just go through the other sets I have. So then I found this gorgeous, it was a find of an absolute freaking lifetime. It's these, I think they're also HarperCollins, but they're the modern classic edition. So they're these you have the blue spines and then sort of a lot of blue, and you have this sort of square with the title and the author. So this is Fellowship. This is Two Towers, and then this is Return of the King. And I just love these illustrations. These are by John Howie, and I got these from Seekers Books in Toronto, and all three were tied together with an elastic, and they were $15. Not $15 each. No. $15 for the whole set, which is insane because they're in insanely amazing condition. And yeah, so there are three volumes for $15, which is crazy, and they're literally in pristine condition. The first one has a little bit more, I don't know if you can see that, wear and tear, and the pages are this gorgeous brown, they're slightly browned, and it smells like a bookstore. I don't know what else I can tell you, to be honest. So just, I'm so obsessed with these. So obsessed with these. So the next thing I have is this stunning, gorgeous, beautiful, I don't even want to crack her open, omnibus edition. So this one has the ring and the elvish, so to speak, around it. And it's this gorgeous, gorgeous cover, which is just, yeah. And this is the omnibus, which means that it has all three books and the appendices. So it's a chonker, but it would definitely be easier to carry around. And I started annotating it, actually. I don't remember if I started annotating it. But I do have a thing of tabs in there, so I guess I was planning on annotating it. So this is the omnibus edition, 1-volume edition with the appendices, which is great. And something, oh, this is a really cool thing. The map, look at that. It folds out. Isn't that great? Oh my god, insane. I love that. I miss when books were creatively bound, to a certain point. But yeah, let me show you the map of the Shire that I have. That is before, I think, the first chapter. There we go. Some of the Shire. Lovely, lovely. One thing I really love about The Lord of the Rings is that there is like a small summary before you start like the second and third book that talks about what happens in the first. And like for the third one, it talks about what happens like in the second book and stuff like that, which is great because I imagine there was quite a bit of time in between the books being published. So we have this gorgeous box set. I love this box. Okay, like look at that. I love this box. So in this, we don't just have Lord of the Rings, we have The Hobbit as well. I do have a mass market paperback copy of The Hobbit, and I have a hardcover. I don't know where those are. That's why they're not in this video. I had the first book out, and then I decided to stuff it back in there. Clearly, that was not a good idea. I should have just kept it out, but I wanted it to be uniform for the beginning of the video. So we'll talk about The Hobbit. I read The Hobbit 2 years ago, I think, at this point, and I did it via solely audiobook. And then I went and got like a really nice copy of it. Oh, this has illustration. Nice. Okay. So this is The Hobbit, and something I really love is this signature detail. I don't know what it is. It just makes it seem more real and more, I guess, official in a sense. Love this cover. Gorgeous cover, of course. So this is The Hobbit. And The Hobbit is sort of like a precursor to Lord of the Rings. And then we have Fellowship of the Ring. That I love how like slightly shiny it is. Gorgeous. Oh my god. And then we have Two Towers. And this is funny enough, my favorite book. I don't love the orange though. But this is my favorite book of the trilogy. I also love the movie Two Towers. And yeah. And then we have Return of the King. Yeah, I don't know. I love this green. I love the shade of green. Something with this shade of green really hits different. And so that's the box set. And then I have this copy of Fellowship of the Ring. And this is one actually my cousin Danaya got when we were in New Jersey. We went to Barnes and Nobles, and I decided I wanted a copy that isn't sold in Canada. So these editions are not sold in Canada so these are HarperCollins as well. So they're the same as the mass markets. And this is William Morrow, I believe. And I believe that's a US only, I think, branch of publishing, so to speak. So we have this one. I really love the mountain on the side. And I think, if I understand correctly, the spines sort of form like I want to say skyline, or like a skyline. I guess you have like The Hobbit and then 2 and 3, and it just forms this nice thing. But yeah, so there's this one. I did start using this one. Oh, turns out I have annotations. Turns out I have annotations. So there's that. Yeah, the font is interesting. I think they printed it a little bit weirdly because it's like almost really bold for some reason. So yeah, that is this one. And then we have little non-directly Lord of the Rings copies, but we have adjacent to Lord of the Rings. And we have this gorgeous revised and expanded edition of the letters of Jared Tolkien. And I started reading these, and I didn't get very far because this is a very big book, and it's a little intimidating, not gonna lie. But I do want a paperback copy because I think that would be easier to carry around if I do want to get into it. But it just has this gorgeous letter like foiling on the spine. And he just seems like such an interesting and nice man, you know? So it's a bummer that he has passed, but I loved what I read of his letters. He just seemed like such a genuinely good and kind person, and I just love it. I just love it. So yeah, and it has this like gold bookmark, which I think is a really neat feature, and it makes it feel even more like official in a sense. So I'm not big on like letters or biographies or autobiographies, but for Tolkien, anything. And then we have another pretty cool find of a lot of time. I didn't know how cool this was because I wasn't into Lord of the Rings, the books at least, when I got this. I got this ages ago from like a secondhand bookstore. I don't remember, $15, I guess. Don't remember where I got it. Was it Seekers as well? It might have been Seekers as well. I'm not sure. But that is The Children of Hurin. This is one of the like Lord of the Rings adjacent books, and one that Christopher Tolkien helped publish and edit and stuff. So yeah, it has these gorgeous illustrations by Alan Lee, and I'm slowly trying to get more of the Alan Lee illustrated books. Let me just show you the illustrations if I can find it. Here we are. I haven't read this one, but I am excited for when I do. And then we have a lifetime find. Again, I feel like I keep saying that, but a lot of these, like some of these, they aren't sold anymore in bookstores. But this is the paperback, the old paperback versions of the illustrated Alan Lee copies. And this is The Two Towers, which, as I said, is my favorite book. The bookstore, this is also from Seacoast. The bookstore did have Return of the King for a while, but I decided not to get it, and then someone got it, and I'm still mad about it. But yeah, again, gorgeous, absolutely stunning illustrations. I love the illustrations so much. There we are. And yeah, so this is like Sam, or it's Frodo, I think, running away from Shelob. So there we are. And then last but not least, we have a book that I've been trying to get to for freaking ages, and I might just have to I don't know, do the audiobook of this one at least. But that is the Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien, edited by Christopher Tolkien. Gorgeous cover. It matches height-wise, I think, with like my box set edition. It doesn't match with my paperbacks. The style matches with my paperback, so to speak, but it doesn't match with them in size. In terms of size, the mass markets are like yay big, I think, compared to it. But this is like the first age, I think, foundation of the world, and it's people before the great events recorded in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. And this is basically what the show of The Rings of Power is majority based on. So there's that. And so that concludes the video. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, no, sorry, that's a lie. That is such a lie. A very blatant lie, because I actually have a list. Sorry, hold on. I have a list of editions I would like. So a wish list of editions, perhaps, if you will. Oh, and one more. Sorry, I forgot one more. And then we have the exclusive Exclusivna Classica edition of the Fellowship of the Ring. So this is the Russian edition. This is the translation by Muravyova and Kistiakovskova. Yeah. So it's by them. It's the Exclusivna Classica, which is sort of like the Russian version of like Penguins or Oxford Classics. So they all have this very specific style of cover and very specific style of back. And yeah, so I'm reading it. I'm enjoying it. I have a vlog at some point that will come out. It'll be in Russian, but I will have subtitles. So those that are English speakers and non-Russian speakers will be able to still watch it if you're interested. But yeah, so far I'm enjoying it. I know it looks really small, but it's actually like insanely long. Like it's 500 something pages. It's like almost 600 pages. And 600 pages in Russian is crazy. So yeah, and so here is my very small wish list of books I would like to get in the future, and books that I'm going to be hunting for and looking for very much so. So I want the second and third books of the Russian edition, because then it'll match. And then I want the old paperback illustrated versions of book 1 and book 3, because then they'll match. Then there's like the reader's guide, which looks really, really cool. So I would love to get that. Then we have there's like white anniversary editions. I think they're gorgeous. I would love to get those. Then we have like the small leather bound editions, not the small like hardcover, but the small leather bound specifically. And then we have these Del Rey editions where it's like the Fellowship is red, Two Towers is blue, and Return of the King is green. We have the Clarion Books editions. I'll put them up on the screen, obviously. And then there's this like omnibus leather bound version, which I think looks so cool. So I would love to get that. So that's my small wish list. And now that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I wasn't too rambling and too all over the place. And yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know if there are other editions in English that I might not be knowledgeable about. I would love to also get the books in French, but Not gonna lie, it being called Fratelano or whatever is kind of tripping me out because they're like it reminds me of just like calling it a fraternity. Although it translates to like brotherhood, but it's like it's so, I don't know, university modern coded. You know, fellowship sounds so medieval, and then fraternité doesn't sound very medieval. And I'm not sure I like the covers of the French editions, nor do I like the pocket versions of French books, which are often what they come in. Hate the mass market paperbacks. Bring back regular size books, please. Anyways, that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know if you want me to do a deep dive on any of these or like talking more about like Lord of the Rings. I'd love to do that. Any excuse to talk about Lord of the Rings more often than a normal person would. But yeah, that's it for this video, and follow me on all my socials, and I will see you in the next one. Happy reading!